Okay, it is a Sunday, September the 29th, 2020. I've been reading a chapter out of the book Ancient Future by Wayne Chandler. This is about the third time I've read this book. Every time I read it, I glean something new. I want to go ahead and record this while I talk to my co-energy about what I've read. I'm going to post a blog. It'll probably be another one of the, instead of a whole bunch of writing to read, it'll be more imagery and symbolism posted kind of blog to go with this. But I just wanted to kind of verbalize some of the profound inspiration that I gleaned from the chapter that I read this morning or this grand rising. And what I've written in my notes is that there's this pattern, and it's almost something that I've used to create a blueprint that I'll do in summary at the end of this recording. You know, I've adapted calling the god or the goddess the source, because from a scientific perspective, everything is created from source. Creation is source, and source is creation. But source is more, I'm going to say scientific than calling something God, goddess, which, you know, leans toward the religious verbalization. And we're talking English again, you know, which is my only fluent language. So it's hard to even say what I'm trying to say here, but I'll do the best I can using English. But the cool part about what I'm gleaning this morning or this grand rising is that the source is pretty much spin up by using mind and soul, a connection of mind and soul. That is your god or your goddess. Without mind and soul, you know, I'm not sure, because again, I am a person who practiced Christianity for over 50 years. So we use the term God a lot. In my explanation of the narrative, it was not really a spinning up of mind and soul to create source. It was more of just a following. So, but from a spinning up of mind and soul, that source, which is called in English your God or goddess, you can move into eternity. And this is the really profoundly cool thing that I glean about eternity, this grand rising, is that eternity can be defined as permanence and immortality, not immorality, immortality, eternity. I've always thought of eternity as something, you know, a long time. But when you just come right out and say permanence, it's permanent. Okay? It does not go away. Truly, that is eternity. Okay? Immortality, as you can tell, I don't use that word in my vocabulary very much. That's why I'm struggling with it. And then again with the English language, where they've made it sound like immorality, probably because they don't want you to think on immortality very much, because this is something that's a lot higher vibration than what you might just get, you know, at a religious Sunday service. You know, this is permanent, something that stays. Okay, eternity, permanence, and immortality, which takes you into your cosmos. And I've talked to my co-energy about this a lot. Cosmos, to me, from my seeking, is the macro and the micro. Okay, it's not just something up in the air. In fact, it's not. It has to be the connection of the cosmos, or the connection of the macro and the micro to the macro. Now you got the cosmos. Well, in the book, it describes the cosmos as reoccurrence and counter reoccurrence. Now that takes you to a different level. A lot of people are stuck with occurrence. Then you can raise their vibration to reoccurrence. And like I said, the macro, the micro, the macro, the macro. But then take it a different level. Counter reoccurrence. Now we're really talking about some cyclical stuff. Okay, you're talking about something that keeps reoccurring and then it goes back the other way and counter reoccurs. Awesome. That's the cosmos. That's a deeper thought into what the cosmos are. Okay, and so as we look at what's going on in the cosmos, now we have time. Time is described as an increase and a decrease. Okay, a lot of people are trying to quote unquote time travel, go back in time, go into the future, but are they really looking at time in is a concept of increase and decrease? I had been taught or trained to think that increase is good, decrease is not good. Of course, you know, the good and the bad terms have to be reevaluated once you start thinking, really thinking. But yes, the increase and the decrease, that's time. When I first wrote it, I didn't think of it, but now that I'm talking about it, I think of breath. Our lungs increase and then they decrease. That is breathing. That's being alive. If your lungs are not increasing and decreasing, are you really in this microcosm? You know, you're not breathing. We've classified that as death. But look at time. Time is a matter of, and not in the matter sense, but it is a concept of increasing, decreasing. Again, that's cyclical. That's spiritual. It's spiral. You're increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. I heard my co-energy say the other night, we've had ups and downs. We've climbed the hills and then we've gone down the hills. Hey, you don't climb the hill. Maybe you climb a mountain and stay up there forever, but most people don't stay on top of a hill forever. You go up the hill, you come down the hill. What is that called? Sine wave. Here we go again. We're back to the glorious sine wave that I started so many years ago looking at and saying there's something to this sine wave. It's the increase and the decrease. And if you want to know more about time, that might be somewhere to go, is looking at the increases and the decreases. Then the chapter described, once you get a grasp of time, then you can understand becoming. Becoming what? I'm going to translate that as becoming human, because we got a lot of people walking around here and they're not acting right. It's not normal. But if you don't understand or understand some of these concepts of what the source, mind and soul connection, eternity, cosmos, and time is, are you really becoming human? What are you doing? And so becoming is described as quality and quantity. And here's a woosah moment for me, because I've recently started dealing with, do we really need the quantity if we have the quality? The answer is yes. At first I was going to say no, but yes, quality and quantity are important. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more when I get into the summary of the blueprint that I put together for this morning. Oh, I need to go back. And I think I said it in the cosmos. Once we get that reoccurrence and counter reoccurrence, now we're moving into matter. So from the cosmos, time, and becoming, that is the below. Of course, the law of correspondence is as above, so below. Well, once you get into that cosmos plane of thinking or subplane of thinking, now you're talking about matters. Yeah, in the book, he says that there are 7 subplanes to the 3 great planes. I don't really think of them or express spirit, mind, and body as the 3 great planes, but that's how he describes those. The 3 great planes are, and some people say it in this pattern of mind, body, and soul. And I'm trying to train myself to say spirit first, mind, and body. But he's saying there's 7 subplanes to those 3 great planes. In the physical plane, we're going to start with below. In the physical plane, 7 subplanes are form, heat, light, electricity, gravity, cohesion, and chemical affinity. These are very big. In my opinion, when it comes to what we call our medical practices. You know, if someone is practicing health and wellness, they sincerely need to understand form. Okay, we come in different forms. We are not alike. Okay, heat has a lot to do with our forms, with our physical forms. Okay, light. This is where I was talking to someone the other day saying that natural light does a lot for our immune system. Electricity. We are an electric body, whether you like it or not. And so that all of this radioactive changes that are happening on our planet now impact our electric body. Gravity. Whew, if only I could control gravity, some people would just float off this earth. I'm just going to say it like that. Cohesion. You know, again, I'm talking about, you know, how we impact the things that we touch. Not just, you know, things that we touch physically, but the air. Keeping in mind, a lot of our air is hydrogen, oxygen, is water. Okay, we got cohesion with that. If you're sweating right now, you're having some cohesion with the air. Think. And then chemical affinity. Again, if you're practicing medicine, wellness, health, you got to understand we have a chemical affinity to things we're putting in our body, on our body, and the way we think is creating chemical affinities. That has a lot to do with our physical plane. But based on vibration and frequency, we move into our mental plane. Okay? He lists 7 subplanes of the mental plane: atomic mind, molecular mind, mineral mind, plant mind, animal mind, elemental mind, and then finally you get involved to the human mind. Okay? I didn't write a lot of my notes on those different subplanes. Atomic mind, he mentioned an experiment in the chapter where a physicist was using an electron gun. I have to look this up and see how credible it is, but he put 2 slits in the wall. And when he pointed the electron gun at the left side slit, the electron went right through that left side slit and went through the wall. So the second time, he closed up the left side slit. He took that same electron gun, he pointed it at the left slit, and he says that surprisingly, the electron actually paused. It noticed that the left slit was gone and then went to the right slit and went through the wall. Wow. Now, if that's credible, that proves there is an atomic mind. That's an electron, y'all. We ain't talking about a fully encased animal, plant, or human. We're talking about a simple atomic level electron. Can think, can make a decision on whether which slit in the wall to go in. Okay, that tells me we got a lot more thought, thinking practice to do. That we're just, you know, ignoring some things. Of course, electrons join other atomic elements to become molecules. Molecules become minerals. Minerals become plants, animals, elements, other elements in the humans. Okay, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but the human mind has a lot to really grasp so that it can get back to the atomic mind, not just the human, quote unquote, human mind. So as you can evolve from the mental plane, you can get to the spiritual plane. And this is where, a lot of people just aren't there. I'm going to say we probably have 3 to 7% of human beings on the planet that are even at the spiritual plane now because they're so caught up in other things. But this is the thing. He has these 4 subplane groups, and in the first one, I was able to, I think, list out 3. There's like 3 categories in the first one. And the first one is the adept, the seeker, and the master teacher. Okay? The adept is mastering organic alchemy, is the way he put it. I was like, yeah, organic alchemy. Yes, they're trying to master alchemy in an organic situation. I like the way he put the word organic in there, because I know some people who are doing alchemy the wrong way to get the wrong agenda progressed. So I'm gonna call it organic alchemy. That's not a good alchemy, but that's where I'm going. That's the alchemy that's on my path, my journey. Organic alchemy, not the kind that's gonna hurt somebody or something. Of course, we know what the seeker is. They're the people who have decided, no, I'm just not gonna take your word for it. I'm going to get it for myself, and it's going to be mine. Once you get it for yourself, it's yours now. Nobody can take that. And then the master teacher. Those three categories are what makes you a human being. I'm just going to say it. If you're not practicing organic alchemy, seeking, and trying to become a master teacher, you're not being human. I don't know what we're doing. And I'm going to say we, because I was there. I understand. Well, that was all about. And it has a lot to do with a lot of stuff that we're not going to go into right now. But yes, now you're being human if you're there. Then he has another subplane called the Arahant. And I hope I'm saying that right. But this Arahant is that person, that human being that lets go of all their worldly desires. When we see these kinds of people, and we may even call them homeless, because they just don't want it no more. They don't want to deal with it anymore. And I'm beginning to understand that a lot. And so once you get to that point, he says in the book, in this chapter, you will not reincarnated. You are done with all those lifetimes. Once you let go of all those worldly desires, that's the end of your reincarnation cycle. This other, what I have down as the third of the subgroups, is the sage. The sage is not like an evolution of the adept, seekers, master teacher, or even the errant, but this path is to guide them. And I put on here, he talked about how dolphins, whales, and elephants seem to have a higher conscience than human beings. In particular, the dolphin uses 100% of both hemispheres of their brain. Can you imagine? And that as on average, just looking at human beings, we're not using even half of either hemispheres of our brain. And 10 to 15% of that is conscious. So that makes, and I've heard this, it very well be, and I'm just writing this in my note, dolphins, whales, and elephants can be the sages. They are our guides. We need to watch them and try to understand their ways. And see their consciousness. They may be the sages that are left on the planet right now. And then the fourth group is the avatar. Now, we've seen the movie and, we've seen the clip arts and the bitmojis, but pretty much he describes the avatars as the illuminators. Okay? Avatars don't have to do nothing but just be, and they will light the way. Their energy is that vibrational. Okay, so I'm going to try to wrap this up because I don't want this audio to be very long. But I wrote up a 9/27/2020 blueprint just from the notes that I took. And so here, when I talk about a blueprint, I'm talking about trying to find my path. What are the steps on my path? Number 1, spin up a goddess by connecting the mind and the soul. Okay? That's going to be the goddess, the mind and soul connectivity. Number 2, once connected, reach beyond materialism that can dissolve. Okay? If I have something around me, I'm holding something, I'm keeping something, and I know it's going to eventually dissolve. It's eventually going to go away. Yeah, it's going to eventually die. You gotta let it go. You gotta let that go and reach for more permanent things. And I have question marks here because I don't have a list of more permanent things right now. But that's a practice. That's an exercise to do. Okay? So when I'm at that point where I've connected, I've let go of stuff that's not permanent, I'm holding on to stuff that is permanent, now I can get at eternity. Now I am the essence of that goddess that I just sped up, by connecting mind and soul. Number 3, on the eternity plane, I need to observe the cosmic environment that's been created by all that letting go and getting to permanency and becoming the essence of a goddess. Okay, I need to understand how the micro recycles with the macro perpetually and the other way around. That's the counter reoccurrence. Okay, I need to watch the cycles of that macro, micro, macro, micro, so that and see how it's actually manifesting matter in that way. Okay, step 4 on the blueprint, as the cycle finds rhythm, I need to see how the increase of matter and energy becomes soon after probably the decrease of that same matter and energy. When I can see that, then I know I'm within time. Okay, that is the true essence of time. Number 5 on the blueprint, I can observe the quality and quantity of that time. This is big. A lot of people are like, well, I feel like I'm losing time, or my time is being wasted, or I'm wasting time. Okay, now I'm looking at time a little differently. When I look at the quality of time, I'm going to ask, is this time balanced or chaotic? That's the quality of my time now. And then the quantity is it a short due to a lack of the increase or the decrease? Or am I getting extended increase and decrease, which is balance? And it's got to be non-chaotic. This is a pretty interesting blueprint for today, just by reading one chapter. This just proves to me there's a lot to be done to get to this point where, yeah, you stop reincarnating. That, now you're done with all that lifetime craziness. And this is all just in one chapter of the book called the Axiom, or the Law of Correspondence. So excited about this. I'll get this blogged and posted to share. But wonderful, wonderful things. As always, I pray that everyone stays well through everything that's going on our planet right now. I'm going to try to get there. If I have to come back, hopefully I have this to guide me, so I don't have to come back after that. Stay well, stay woke, stay warm. Asante, Ashe.